On Sunday, November 24th, 1971, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 was preparing for takeoff with 42 people on board, including the crew. The Boeing 727, scheduled to depart from Portland International Airport, was set to land at Seattle International Airport after a planned 30-minute flight. And on that very day, a legend emerged. A few days before Thanksgiving, at 2:50 p.m., everything appeared normal. A flight attendant named Florence was serving a passenger seated in the last row, seat 18E, when the man handed her a folded note with a polite smile. Because of her profession, she was used to receiving notes from passengers, usually flirtatious ones. She assumed this was one of those and casually put it in her purse without reading it. She continued walking down the aisle, asking passengers if they needed anything. But when she passed the man in seat 18E again, he stopped her calmly and said in a low voice, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb in my briefcase." Trying to remain calm, Florence quickly retrieved the note and read it. Written in black felt-tip pen in all capital letters, it said, "Miss, I have a bomb in my briefcase, and I want you to sit next to me." The man opened his briefcase slightly and showed her what appeared to be 8 red cylinders wired together with a battery, something that looked very much like dynamite. Florence realized this was no joke. Calmly and politely, the man explained his demands. $200,000 in cash, all in American dollars. 4 parachutes, 2 main and 2 reserve. The passengers must not be informed. The money must be delivered by 5 p.m. The flight landed in Seattle at 5:46 p.m. after circling the airport. Authorities complied with his demands. The FBI collected 10,000 $20 bills from the Federal Reserve Bank in San Francisco and recorded all the serial numbers. When the money and parachutes were delivered, the hijacker allowed the passengers and 2 flight attendants to leave the plane. Only the 2 pilots, 1 remaining flight attendant, and the hijacker stayed on board. The man had bought his ticket in Portland under the name Dan Cooper, paying in cash. At 7:36 p.m., the plane took off again. Cooper instructed the pilots to fly toward Mexico City at a low altitude of 10,000 feet, about 3,000 meters, with the landing gear down, flaps at 15 degrees, and at the minimum safe speed. After takeoff, he sent the remaining flight attendant to the cockpit and told her not to return. The last time anyone saw Dan Cooper, he was tying the money bag to himself and preparing a parachute. Somewhere over Washington State in stormy weather and heavy rain, Cooper opened the rear staircase of the Boeing 727 and jumped into the night. When the plane landed in Reno, Nevada, the rear door was open. Dan Cooper was gone. Extensive searches were conducted for weeks, but no body was found. In 1980, a young boy named Brian Ingram discovered $5,800 in decaying $20 bills buried along the Columbia River. The serial numbers matched the ransom money, but aside from that discovery, no confirmed trace of Cooper was ever found. Over the years, dozens of suspects were investigated. Some were promising, but none could be definitively proven to be Dan Cooper. In 2016, after 45 years, the FBI officially closed the case. To this day, the mystery remains. Did he survive and live quietly somewhere, or did he die that night in the wilderness? No one knows.